أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي واشدد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا أنت Subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. There's no God but you. Glory be unto you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Happy Saturday. Inshallah everyone is doing good. And we will be continuing on today with the fourth ray on an explanation of the meaning of the Quranic verse of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. God suffices for us. He's the best disposer of affairs. So it's been an interesting journey trying to apply the meaning of this verse within oneself. Is it an easy endeavor? Heck no, it's not. It is difficult. It is challenging, at least for me. I'm not, maybe people listening out there, it may be easy for some, but personally, to be honest, it's really not an easy endeavor to live by, being convinced that I have a point of support that I can rely on for all and every of my affairs, bigger, smaller, anything that I deal with at a micro and macro levels, from minor details to big projects. Everything is under not my control, but is, or at least what this author is letting us know, is everything that I go through, everything that we all deal with is under a command or under a will of a one that brings this universe into existence, and that's bringing each one of us into existence. So inshallah, the hope is that by expounding more on what this means for me, or how can I live a life of, I don't want to say ease, because life in general is not easy either, whether you believe in God or not, right? We have goals, we have different objectives in life, and obviously to achieve those, everybody run the marathon. But it's just like after a certain time, you're like, wait, either you master accomplishing everything, and if you do, then win-win situation, but then you say, hey, where do I go from here? What does all this mean? Or if you're one of those type where you're like, I love challenges, let me tackle in more, all right? But then at the same time, what is all this for? Like, why am I even running this marathon? Regardless, okay? So we are in this, what you say, up and down kind of journey, right? I guess when we are younger, life is very linear. At least for me, it was very linear. Everything was good. But then as we progress in our maturity, young adults, then you're like, wait, it's not that linear. It's not that easy as I thought. There are other things that needs to be considered. So anyways, I think the biggest question, or the underlying question for anyone, regardless of what age or stage of life you're in, is really, what is all this for? What does all my endeavors point to? Like, what is really, I don't want to say the end goal, because everything has an end goal, but like, what's the point of doing all this? What's the, in other words, what's the meaning or purpose of existence? Not existence, but like even, because I get to know about existence through tasks and accomplishments. So like, where is all this leading to, right? One achievement after the other, one little piece of paper after the other. Where do I go at the end of the day? Y'all know where we end up, where the body goes. So to bring our focus back to learning or really applying the meaning of Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. What does it mean that God suffices for us and he's the best disposer of affairs? So let's proceed in this journey with our friend here, Nursi, who's gonna walk us through, inshallah. But before we go on, just checking in if anybody has anything they want to share, add, or sure. Okay, so let's get started. Then we left off with the bottom of page 82, which was the fourth matter. And yeah, some interesting points were made last time about, how can we attain a pain-free, pleasurable life? I mean, really, that's what ideally everybody is looking for. And obviously there's no eternal happiness here. There's no linear happiness here, but how do I understand the ups and downs that I experience? And how can I really live in this life where I feel that I am being taken care of? So being taken care of by a one who brought me into existence. So I think it's all about a connection and relationship with the source of our existence. So because if I don't have a sound, clear, really rooted relationship with the source of my existence, then I'll always be at unease, and I think it's just these experiences of even uneasiness that makes me want to latch on or want to work out the relationship with the source of my existence. So I think that's all that matters at the end of the day, because everything else is transient, everything else is dying. People around you are dying, your loved ones are dying, you're dying, pretty much. So what can possibly be something that is going to be lasting for me, right? It's really the relationship that I cultivate with the source of my existence. Otherwise, one can go on and on. We can shun away from our reality. I can keep busy with whatever the world offers me. I mean, it offers me a lot of good, bright, enlightening things. And we tackle it. You're like, yeah, let me run this marathon. Let me try this one. You win, hooray. Either it boosts your ego or you're like, okay, what's next? So there's always some kind of looking for the next task or anxiety about the future, or really, how do I pass time? In other words, you hear that teenagers say, oh man, let's kill time. Not even teenagers, my God, the adults now are using the same languages as teenagers. So I can't even draw the line between who's an adult and who's a teen. It's gotten to that point. So I just say the human journey is in such a way where, at the end of the day, how do we utilize our capital which is given to us. And the capital here is really existence/time, and whatever you want to call it, however you want to frame it. Okay, so thank you for listening in on some reflections that, alhamdulillah, were imparted. So pretty much we went over the fourth matter, which was one of the matters of how I can apply Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, for us God suffices. And the author sort of walked us through looking at the universe, looking at myself, which is typical of what everybody does, my feelings, what do I notice outside, and pretty much really what kind of perception do I have of everything? Am I taking things for granted? Am I taking existence for granted? And that's really what's I guess the whole gist of everything is. What's my perception about everything? And well, so let's continue on with this fourth matter. So we had to conclude. So those of you who joined us in, we are on page 83 of the fourth ray. Bismillah. Thus, these four matters, that is, the reality, rights, duties, and pleasure of life, show that the more life looks to the eternally ever-living and self-subsistent one, and the more belief becomes the life and spirit of life. The more belief becomes the life and spirit of life, the more enduring it becomes, and the more enduring fruits it produces. Gee, I wonder what enduring fruits would mean, and what is this endurance about? I'm wondering because I'm experiencing existence right now, and so like I said, everything is really my perception of how I'm viewing things. Am I taking everything for granted in terms of they're just random acts, or they're a setup, a deliberate setup by the one who gives me existence? And so I'm like, yeah, let me get to know more of this source of my existence. So I'm wondering about the enduring fruits that the author is referring to, but that's something that, to think about. So, and then we can discuss on that. Moreover, it becomes so elevated, it receives the manifestation of eternity. It receives the manifestation of eternity. What becomes elevated? These four matters, that is the reality, rights, duties, and pleasure of life, show that the more life looks to the eternally living one and self-subsistent one, and the more belief becomes the life and spirit of life, the more enduring life becomes, and the more enduring fruits life produces. So it refers to life. Thank you. Moreover, life becomes so elevated that life receives the manifestation of eternity. Yeah, what does it mean for life to receive the manifestation of eternity? Life no longer looks to the length and brevity of life. It points to what here? It, after the semicolon here, this little it. Well, I guess, again, the life I'm experiencing here. So life looks no, okay, so to the length of life that I experienced here. Gotcha. This I learned from the verse, and in the name of all lives and living beings, and with that intention and idea, I declared, for us God suffices, and he's the best disposer of affairs. And in the name of all lives and living beings. In the name of all lives and living beings, and with that intention and idea. With what intention and idea?
Yes, in the middle of the paragraph, there is this phrase, like, the more life looks to the eternal subsistent one.
Mm-hmm.
And the more beliefs become the life and spirit of life.
Okay.
Focus on that a little bit.
Sure.
So all the marathons that you were describing
Yeah.
of life that we run, if we make that marathon look towards the eternally ever living one, so all the life journey that we go through, just like you said, the realities, your existence of life, the rights, what is responsibilities it has, what it does, what benefits it gets, the duties it has, right? And the pleasure of life. So the whole human journey from an existential point of view of life. It's such a mysterious thing, as we discussed previously, what life is.
We cannot hear Brother Asim. Yep. Thank you, Adam Rashid, for pointing that out. Go ahead, you can talk now. But
you got the point.
Yeah.
Right?
So pretty much, it really refers to the life, and then the more enduring life becomes, then the more I'm able to understand what everything points to. But like, I'm gonna pause here. That's the question that I'm gonna pose to all of you. Maybe you can help me shed some more light into how would you understand the more enduring life becomes, the more enduring fruit it produces. What kind of enduring fruits can my experiences here produce? What are we talking about here? So I'll type in that question while y'all can think. What type of enduring fruits can my brief life here, possibly produce? All right, so the question is up there on the chat. What are we talking about? For real. So the question to everybody is, what type of enduring fruits can my brief life here possibly produce? What are we talking about? And I see Ali Murmur has his hand up. Go ahead, Brother Ali. Thank you.
As usual, I use the example of the book in order to understand this kind of things. Now, the book is static. And also, the meaning is not as static, but the meaning is like the life of the book. I mean, what makes these papers a book is the meaningful sentences it has. So if we understand that, as the phrase says, more life looks to the eternally ever living and self-subsistent one. Now, when you take the meaning that we extract from the book, we realize that this meaningful sentence, in fact, looks to the author, describes the quality of the author. And if we understand from the meaning that the author has immense knowledge, so as a result of this knowledge, the author is speaking and explaining to me at my level. So I understand that the book is transient, but the meaning as pointing to its author is permanent. As long as I can extract how much the meaning refers to the quality of the knowledge of the author, that book starts gaining value. Otherwise, as a paper, it's nothing. It's not a book and it is meaningless for me. I just throw it away, don't take notes of it. So if I gain the qualities of the author through studying the meaning, which is life of the book, or life of my being, as my being is a book, the universe is a book, so the life demonstrates that the material things, components of my body, cannot be the source of this life. When I understand that life is the element in me which is given to me by my Creator, and through life I realize my human side. For example, if I die, or when I die, as far as my living conditions in this world is concerned, I become a meaningless corpse. So I leave it and put it in the earth and let it disintegrate there. It becomes meaningless, as if you take out of the meaning of the book, the collections of the paper become meaningless. So if we use the meaning in order to get the immense quality of the author's knowledge, then life becomes more enduring. Why? The meaning becomes more enduring. Not only a transient, temporary thing, but after reading the book, I have the knowledge of the author. I know who the author is, which kind of qualities he has. Even you take away the book, still I am with the author, understanding the quality of the author. So when I get in touch with the author, as the sentence says, it no longer looks to the length and brevity of life. It means whether I have the book for 1 day or for 1 year, as long as I get the meaning, and through the meaning get the information about the author, so I am with the author now. You can take the book away. It means my life may be lasting only 1 year. As long as I realize the source of existence of my life and the qualities of this source, now the length of the life, it loses its significance. It doesn't mean that we are going to kill ourselves because I understood my life looks to the eternal Creator, or to the Creator.
We lost your voice, Brother Ali. I'm not sure if you can hear me now. Brother Ali, I'm sorry. We lost your voice. You were saying...
Just a minute. How about now? How about now?
Now it's better. So the last thing you said was...
Internet wasn't. Yeah, it's okay now. So
the last thing you were saying was, it doesn't mean that we should kill ourselves, like, oh, it doesn't matter if I live here for 1 year or 10 years, as long as I'm in communication with the source of my existence. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I realize the endless qualities, infinite qualities of my Creator, it means I would like to live and experience the meaning of my life through my human feelings, which start functioning after I have life. If I didn't have life, I won't be able to see, I won't be able to reason, I won't be able to feel, I will not be able to reason and come to the conclusion and realize what the reality of my being is. So if my life refers to the eternal one, so I have to use my feelings as much as possible so that I can grasp the details of the message I get through my life. So I will experience more senses, more reasoning, more feelings, so that I will become aware of the qualities of my creator more. But in principle, it is not that the length of my life matters. It is, the most important thing is, as long as I utilize my life to connect it to its source of existence, and then realize that it is absolute, so become aware of the qualities, this living qualities, other qualities, through exercising my feelings in this world. So from one aspect, my life is there to introduce its source of existence. But from another aspect, I need longer life to experience longer period and become aware of the qualities of my creator more and more and more. So yes, essentially, the time that I have the book with me is not important as long as I get to the source of the meaning there. When I read the book. But if I have the book with me more, it is better for me because I become more and more, I will have more and more opportunity to come to know the qualities of the author because I will study more. So from one aspect, it is not important. The length of my life is important because it shows it is source of existence. It did, and then that's it. It did the job. But as far as I am concerned, I need more opportunity to practice through keeping the life. That's why I shouldn't kill myself. Thank you.
Thank you. That was helpful. I appreciate you sharing your reflections. So pretty much when we read a book of the universe, book of yourself, feelings, emotions, these are opportunities to connect with the source of our existence. In other words, to be in communication with the source of our existence, because only through the reading and when I extract meaning am I able to see who this source of my existence is, or like you were saying, what type of qualities does this source of existence have? And that's really the gist of the matter, to really establish a good relationship with the source of existence. And the more opportunities am I given as far as lifespan here in this universe, it's really as a way of reading and keep reading what qualities that I experience and who do these qualities belong to. So it's really a way to get to know the source of our existence better. Okay. Yeah, I mean, although one can argue that, you know, the older you get, your ability starts to deteriorate. It's not that much joyful anymore. Definitely, we all want opportunities to get to know the author of the universe, the source of existence. But I would say time is really of essence here because I think we don't know what tomorrow brings. And with aging also comes, you know, the experience of the tools not being sharp anymore to recognize the source of one's existence. So I guess the hope will be there that I want to be able to read the qualities of my maker in the best way. I think that's what everybody would like. I want the opportunities to be in the best possible way. Inshallah. I don't know if anybody has anything to add here. All right. Okay, so nobody has anything to say, then we can move on to the 6th degree of the luminous verse. For us, God suffices. The 6th degree of the luminous verse, for us, God suffices. At a time, my old age, there you go, old age. See, that's exact. Alhamdulillah, how it segues into what we were inquiring about. At a time, my old age was warning me of my own departure amid the events of the end of time, which in turn give warning of the end of the world and departure of all beings. My innate, passionate love of beauty and fascination by perfection developed to an extraordinary degree, and I observed with extreme clarity and sorrow that death, transience, and non-existence were continuously causing the destruction of beings and their separation. Death, transience, and non-existence were continuously causing the destruction of beings and their separation, and were pounding this beautiful world and its creatures, breaking them up and spoiling their beauty. Seeking consolation as that metaphorical love in my nature rebelled violently against this situation, I again had recourse to the verse. It told me, recite me and study my meaning carefully. It's interesting, like how the author here, Nursi, is really sharing what we experience. It's because we live moment to moment. What I mean is like different feelings are imparted onto us. I may say, yeah, last week, just after the Saturday discussion, I felt good, right? Totally understood what everything points to. I was able to apply. What does it mean? For us, God suffices. He's the best disposer of affair. Am I living with Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil? And then here I am sitting today, all of us here after 7 days, and I'm like, okay, this is exactly like we experience sorrow, we experience death, transience, even non-existence. To be honest, it's very real. It's experiential, but and it's just this experiences that makes you like crave for like what all this point to. And so, alhamdulillah, it just resonating with this text here, that there's someone else out there who experienced exactly what I go through, what I've been going through lately for the past few days. At least to me, it's very consoling. It's like, okay, it resonates with me. I'm not the only one. So yeah, so this is the human condition, the human state of being. And so let's see now, what does it mean to study the meaning of this verse more carefully? For me, Fariha, today on June 19, 2021 at 4:40 p.m., what does it mean? So let's see. So I entered the observatory of the light verse in Surah Al-Nur and trained the telescope of belief on the farthest most levels of the verse, for us God suffices, and turn the microscope of the insight of belief at its most obscure mysteries. I saw that just as the mirrors, shining objects, fragments of glass, and even bubbles reveal the various sorts of concealed beauty in the sunlight, and with their different capacities and their change and renewal, renew its beauties. And by reflecting and refracting the light, make known the hidden beauties of the sun and the 7 colors in its light. So, without cease, in order to act as mirrors to the sacred beauty of the all-beauteous one of glory, the Son of pre-eternity and post-eternity, and to the everlasting beauties of his infinitely lovely, most beautiful names, and to renew their manifestation, these fine creatures, these lovely beings, these exquisite artifacts come, then depart, as is explained in detail in the Risale-i-Nur, supported by powerful proofs. All the shades of beauty that are to be observed on them are not theirs, but are the hints, signs, flashes, and manifestations of an eternal, sacred, and transcendent beauty, which desires to be perpetually manifested and visible. Here, 3 of these proofs shall be alluded to briefly. Look, I gotta reread this again because just like so many technical wordings, and at least for me, I need to further read this. So I'll highlight the text again. Okay. So I saw that just as mirrors, shining objects, fragments of glass, and even bubbles reveal the various sorts of concealed beauty in the sunlight, and with their different capacities and their change and renewal, renew its beauties, and by reflecting and refracting the light, make known the hidden beauties of the sun and the 7 colors in its light. So, without cease, in order to act as mirrors to the sacred beauty of the all-beauteous one of glory. To act as mirrors, gotcha, to the sacred beauty of the all-beauteous one of glory, the Son of pre-eternity and post-eternity, and to the everlasting beauties of his infinitely lovely, most beautiful names, and to renew their manifestation. These fine creatures, so the creatures just mentioned earlier, like what you call it here? What was it? Shining objects, fragments of glass, like in this analogy, okay. These lovely beings, these exquisite artifacts come then depart. So I can apply this with what I observe around me, within me. So everything is acting as a mirror. So if I read creation, I see that it's bringing in message about its creator. So the qualities of the author of the universe is reflected on these creatures. And doesn't matter which creature it is, because the qualities point to the author. So that's the most important point here, as is illustrated by Nursi here, that everything is acting as a mirror to the all-beauteous one of glory, about his infinitely lovely, most beautiful name. So it's like this source of our existence infinitely love us. He's our infinite lover. And so these lovely beings, which then I deem to be lovely, they depart. But if they depart, all right, good for you, goodbye, because I found the source of my existence through it. So like Brother Ali was saying earlier, it doesn't matter if the book gets destroyed, the meaning, the quality that I got from it about the author is what matters. So that's that. And so as is explained in detail in the Risale Nur, supported by powerful proofs, all the shades of beauty that are to be observed on them are not theirs. Oh, this is a very good point. I get so lost with this piece. The qualities are manifested on things. It doesn't belong to them. And Fariha, you got to write this 10,000 times. Hopefully it should roger in, inshallah. But things are hints, signs, flashes, and manifestations of an eternal, sacred, and transcendent beauty which desires to be perpetually manifested and visible. It's like the author of the universe wants to make himself or herself known through the qualities that we see manifested, reflected on the objects and things. So here, 3 of these proofs shall be alluded to briefly. 3 of the proofs of what? Which desire to be, but are the hints, signs, flashes, and manifestation of which desires to be perpetually manifested and visible. Here, 3 of those proofs shall be alluded to briefly. Okay, so the author is not going to give us, some proofs about how can we see the transcendent beauty which wants to be seen in all these objects. I don't know. Does anybody has anything to say here with this highlighted paragraph we just read? No. Yeah, I thought so. It's pretty self-explanatory, but Ali Murmur, go ahead.
Something attracted my attention and I wanted to share it with you so that you may help me to understand better. So the term, he says, is the hidden beauties of the sun. Because these hidden beauties, how do you understand these hidden beauties? Because sunlight comes here, and as we see the sunlight, it has in and of itself, it seems to be, it doesn't have any color or any differences. So just one thing coming, but one beam of light is coming from the sun. But the term is what's interesting. In the mirrors or other stuffs that reflect the sun, the sunlight, they also not only reflect, but also refract. I wondered exactly what refract means here. In the context of the paragraph, I understood that it is explained here. The hidden beauties of the sun and the 7 colors in it. Why hidden beauties? Because as the light comes from the sun, it doesn't seem to be very beautiful. Yes, it is attractive, but it is one entity. It doesn't have many entities. But after being reflected in the mirrors, and these mirrors reflect, sort of refract, what is in it? It means they, after reflected, they break up. What is in this seemingly simple light beam? All different kinds of colors and other qualities, heat, other qualities, light, enlightening, giving lighting the things only after it reflects itself. If it doesn't reflect itself, it looks dark. It means nothing. So there is no light. So reflection of the sunbeam on the mirrors objects demonstrate all its hidden qualities. For example, God is the creator. Let's assume that we understood there must be a creator, but the universe has so many countless numbers of different kinds of manifestations of the act of creating. How everything, all different kinds of planets and stars, galaxies, come to the earth, all different kinds of mountains, valleys, rivers, water, air, all different kinds of animals, plants. And we understand, especially in human life, that we experience very well ourselves, all different kinds of feelings and everything become apparent after the reflection of the sun in the mirrors. That is why these reflections are so important, because they disclose the hidden qualities of the sunlight. The text started with saying that I benefited from the light verse of the chapter Nur, because there it is explained how it is reflected. So when the light hits the creation, it means when the act of creation starts, or act of creating starts manifesting, immediately whatever is created becomes a reflectors. It means disclosing the hidden qualities of its creator. This example of light really made me excited and feel excited. So I said, let me go and study this verse later on and see how it is manifested there, how the author benefited from this verse in order to come to this conclusion. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Ali. Very good point for bringing up. Actually, the whole vibration came here as well, because I'm also getting excited about these hidden beauties, because I think that's the point. So sunlight is reflected in any object. So I may say, yeah, this must have a creator, but then I need to go dig deeper into exploring or getting to know the further qualities of something. So then through just recognizing the sun in the mirror, the sunlight in the mirror, then I can really get a full picture of the sun. So yeah, I think somewhere else in the Risale-i-Nur, Nursi uses on account of one divine name, on account of the manifestation of one divine name, other names are manifested. So I may be indulging in a bag of Doritos and just feeling a little joyful. But I'm like, oh, wow, someone is entertaining me. Someone is entertaining me, but like if I'm a little bit hungry and there's some food, then I say, oh, the one who's presenting this to me must be a really merciful and compassionate one, because you know exactly what I need at this time. Like I'm given hunger and then I'm being satiated with not only a bag of Doritos, but pizza as well. So yeah, I think this was a very good point to highlight, alhamdulillah. And so connecting this with, I entered with, you were talking about Surah Al-Nur, this piece from the Quran. So I think the author is connecting his impressions of this piece from the Quran that helps him extract more hidden beauties of the sun. Alhamdulillah. All right. Any other comments from anyone? We have a few more minutes left, but if anybody feels like talking, go ahead, Adam.
I'm sorry, I should have raised my hand. I was trying to. Well, I didn't catch the Surah An-Nur part. Can someone elaborate a little bit more how the Surah An-Nur relates to this piece? I understand act of creating was said, but is there something more regarding reflection and how we can see? I mean, since we only have a few minutes left, so maybe that's a part to go deeper on and understand more if we're ready. If we need to study it more and then come back, we can do it. But if anybody would like to comment.
Would anyone want to comment on this query from Brother Adam? It's pretty much inquiring about Surah Al-Nur, and while people are thinking, like, really my brief knowledge of, I think Nur as in light, but not like light in terms of like, oh, enlightenment, something that enlightens us about our reality. So I don't know, I haven't explored chapter Al-Nur, but we can look into it right now. So maybe the enlightenment that the author received from Surah Al-Nur helped him see the hidden beauties or the other manifested qualities of the creator. But that's just my brief takeaway. I'm not sure if that helped at all, but like anyone else would want to chime in, go ahead and let me just reread this. I entered the observatory of the light verse. The light verse, oh, there's a specific light verse? I have no idea. Does anybody know? There's a light verse. Okay, so now I'm looking into it. And train the telescope of belief on the farthest level of the verse. For us, God suffices, and turn the microscope of the inside of belief at its most obscure mysteries. Not sure. Can pull up Surah Al-Nur. I don't know if that will work. Surah Al-Nur. Light verse. Let's see what that brings up. Surah Al-Nur. Verse of light. Okay, so it's translated as verse of light.
24:35.
24:35. Thank you very much.
Yeah, 35.
Okie dokie. 24:35. Oh wow! Look at that. Ooh, it's a lot of text here. What do we? Okay, so all right, we're not gonna spend time with the Arabic, but we can read the English translations. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light is like a niche in which there is a lamp. The lamp is in a crystal. The crystal is like a shining star, lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree, located neither to the east nor to the west, whose oil would almost glow even without being touched by fire. Dang, that sounds interesting. Whose oil would almost glow even without being touched by fire. That's interesting. Light upon light. Allah guides whoever He wills to His light, and Allah sets forth parables for humanity. For Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. MashaAllah, this looks like an interesting verse to explore. It's interesting, but like I'm wondering, what can all this mean? It sounds very interesting. Lamp is in a crystal. The crystal is like a shining star lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree. Like, what does all this mean? the only piece that I was amazed about is whose oil would almost glow even without being touched by fire. Like, what can all this mean? I don't know if anyone wants to share their immediate takeaway from this. Perhaps, maybe if I read creation, I'm able to connect to its creator. So just reading makes me communicate with the author of the universe through the meaning that I extract. And so when I am communicating with the author of the universe, so that's enlightenment for my spirit. And then I think the lamp and the crystal and the olive oil and so on, I think these are like layers and layers of meaning. Yeah, we can take of it as that. So the more I dig in, the more I extract meaning, the more layer I get. And so the meanings are there. But it's just I need to read the book, or I need to read creation. Because if I do my homework, if I am peeling the layers on my end, then I'll be flowing from light to light. And light to light means it's really me getting guidance, or me getting the understanding that I'm in need of right now, because I really need understanding of my current situation that I'm in, that I'm going through. You may be also experiencing different things. So every one of us, we are in need of guidance. We are in need of enlightenment. And so that's how the source of our existence presents to us our reality through parables, because none of us are living the same experiences. Okay, so guidance does not come in the form of the same size t-shirt, like one size fits all. No, clearly I think we can understand from parables, like the nature of even English literature. Parables are in such where everybody extract meaning according to their own understanding and life experiences and backgrounds. So yeah, alhamdulillah, that was a brief takeaway from my end. But let's see if anyone wants to add anything, or I don't know if that helped a little bit. If Brother Adam, you wanna maybe expound a little more on what you took away from this, that will be good. Or if anyone else.
I guess I would just say that this verse is being interpreted very interestingly in the text we're reading. If I understand what the text we're reading is saying, the same principles then could be used to interpret this verse, which always this verse was the verse Surat Nur, verse 35, 36, 35, was always confusing to me. But I think now it's starting to make a little more sense, at least interpreted in this way. So but I don't know really if I'm right. I don't know if I have time to go and expound on it, but I will just summarize by saying what we're seeing here in terms of in the Risale text, saying reflecting and refracting the light. So the source of light is coming and being refracted into many, many different things, and its hidden beauties are coming out, as was said, which we don't see directly from one side. So in the same way, taking this approach, if you interpret the verse in similar fashion, makes sense. But I don't know exactly, and I'm still thinking about it. But definitely, I understand more about this Surat Nur verse now, and can use it more now to interpret this Surat Nur verse.
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much for sharing your takeaways as well. So perhaps we can further reflect on this verse from chapter 24, verse 35, and then really try to assimilate it with the meaning from the fourth ray of the piece of the text we read today. So inshallah, and then something comes up, we can always share our comments or takeaways inshallah next time. But I'll just scan the room and see if anybody has any things to add, any final comments, thoughts, excitement, or just okay. Then I think we can stop here for today, inshallah. So next week we can pick up from the first proof, and at the same time people are free to chime in their reflections on the verse that we went over today, verse 35 from chapter 24. So we'll pick up from the first proof inshallah next time again. Thank you all for coming in and joining us in on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in the East Coast. Thank you for your comments and sharing your thoughts and reflections. Alhamdulillah, it's always very beneficial. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you're all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati sirra surat